What up, y'all? You're listening to Sports Talk with Tropp, and I'm your host, Katie Tropp. Well, these NBA playoffs, they are heating up. For the first round, we've had some pretty good battles so far between a couple of these teams. Of course, there have been some blowouts as well, but a lot of these matchups are pretty close, and I wouldn't be shocked if some of these series go seven games and just go back and forth, because so far that's what they've been. So let's start off with the first matchup between the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. This week, it's actually been back and forth. On Monday night, Detroit got the win, 100-94. And Cade Cunningham, he had a huge game with 33 points and 12 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder, he has been a huge piece of this offense, and just the reason why this team has succeeded so well this season, because he just seems to step it up each and every time he's needed, and he's been doing that in every playoff game so far. He dropped 20 points in Monday night's game, and then Jalen Brunson, even though the Knicks lost this game, Brunson still dropped 37 points as well. It was just the rest of the team basically faded away, but Detroit pretty much dominated that game. But Thursday night's game, while it was a close score, the New York Knicks dominated this game from start to finish. They got the win 118-116. Yes, it's a close score, but for the most part, man, the Knicks had this one. It was just more Detroit finally started to show some life. Too little, too late, though. They had a couple of spurts where it looked like they were going to get going, but every time they would get going, New York was like, nah, we got this. New York was playing great defense last night. But offensively, everybody was scoring. Jalen Brunson dropped 30 points. Karl Anthony Towns had 31 points. OG Anunoby had 22 points. And Bridges, he had 22 points as well. So it's just the entire team was showing out, not only, though, offensively, but they played some great defense as well. Detroit they just never, every time they'd get going, just New York was right back in their face. And so that's why it was so close. But, New York had this one the whole way. I feel like this was actually the best game for New York so far in this series, because they controlled the whole outcome of the game from the tip, basically. And So right now, New York actually has a 2-1 lead in the series. Game 4 is on Sunday, so they have a few days off before they play again. Then the next matchup we have is between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. This week has all been dominated by the Clippers. On Monday night, the Clippers got the win 105-102. It was a close battle, though. Of course, Nikola Jokic do what Nikola Jokic do, and that's get a triple-double. He had 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. But playoff Kawhi has arrived. He dropped 39 points in this one. And, since he's been injured over the last couple of seasons, I kind of feel like we all, myself included, forgot all about playoff Kawhi. But he is showing us that this is what he is here for. He's healthy, it looks like, and he's really storming out there and just playing great basketball. Because not only did Monday night he dominate, but then Thursday night the Clippers absolutely dominated Denver. This one wasn't even close, 117-83, and it was just all Clippers all night. Kawhi, 21 points, 11 rebounds. James Harden also added in 20 points. Jokic did have a triple-double, but it didn't matter. Nobody else stepped up in this one especially. But that's just kind of the case with the Nuggets. They need somebody else to get out there with Jokic and do something else. But the Clippers, playoff Kawhi, he has arrived. Right now the Clippers have a 2-1 series lead. And Game 4 will be on Saturday. Then the next series we have is between the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. On Tuesday, the Indiana Pacers got a win over the Bucks, 123-115. This series has pretty much been dominated by the Pacers. They really, Pascal Siakam, he's had a great series. In this game, he had 24 points with 11 rebounds, and then Halliburton also had 21 points and 12 assists. It was just an all-around great team effort from the Pacers, and that's really just what they're doing in this one. The Bucks are just Giannis and Giannis alone. It's kind of like with the Denver Nuggets, and they're just Jokic alone. Well, for the Bucks, Giannis is putting up monster numbers, but nobody else is doing shit, whereas Indiana, their bench is doing well. When their stars are sitting, the rest of the team is doing well. They're playing well on the defensive side of the ball. It's just overall, as a team, Indiana is playing much better team basketball over the Milwaukee Bucks. And right now, the Pacers have a 2-0 lead over the Bucks in this series, and Game 3 is tonight, Friday night in Milwaukee. Then the next series, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder just dominating the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, I am one of the people who questioned whether or not Oklahoma City's for real. At least in the first round, they're showing they're for real. Because they are just suffocating the Memphis Grizzlies. On Tuesday night, they got the win 118-99. SGA dropped 27 points. Chet Holmgren had 20 points and 11 rebounds. Williams had 24 points, and it was just straight up domination. Not as dominating as game one, but still straight up domination. Memphis had no shot at all in that one. Then on Thursday night, this one was much more difficult for the Thunder, but they still got the win, 114-108. As a matter of fact, at one point in this game, the Oklahoma City Thunder were down 29 points, but they stormed back. SGA had 31 points. Chet Holmgren had 24 points, and it was just a really excellent game from the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were tested, and they came right back. The Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, he actually ended up getting injured in this game, so we'll see if that affects the rest of the series, although I kind of feel like this is done because Oklahoma City is up 3-0 in this one. So they're going for the sweep in Game 4 on Saturday. So we'll see what happens in this one. But Oklahoma City is pretty much erasing any doubts that any of us had, at least in this first round of the playoffs. Then the next series we're talking about is the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had Game 2 on Tuesday night, and the Lakers were back in true form. They got the win 94-85. Luka had a phenomenal game, 31 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. LeBron was back, though, and that's what was really, really needed. Is other teammates needed to step up because Luka, he looked phenomenal in Game 1, but even LeBron did not look good in Game 1. Well, LeBron stepped it up in this one. He had 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Austin Reeves dropped 16 points himself. So it was just an all-around good team effort from the Lakers. And they pretty much dominated this one from start to finish as well. So they really needed that, but they still should not be overlooking the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are a potent team. They are a damn good team, and Anthony Edwards is capable of putting up the same numbers that Luka puts up as well. Right now, this series is tied at 1. Game 3 is Friday night, and we'll see how that one ends up. But so far, it's been pretty lopsided in both games. Then the next series we're talking about is the Boston Celtics versus the Orlando Magic. On Wednesday night, they played Game 2. Boston got the win 109-100, and they actually needed to do it without Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum has a wrist injury. It doesn't look like it's anything major, and I kind of feel like with or without Tatum, they're winning this series. So you might as well sit him for when it gets more difficult down the road. Let him rest up a little bit, and so that's what they did in this one. And it didn't matter. Jaylen Brown stepped it up. He went off for 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Boston's sitting pretty right now. They are up 2-0 on this series. They also have Game 3 on Friday night themselves. And don't be shocked if the Celtics sweep on Orlando out of this one because even without Tatum, I think they could sweep Orlando out of this one because the Celtics are just an all-around excellent team, so why not sit Tatum for the rest of the series and just let him rest up for the next round? Then the next series we're talking about is the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Miami Heat. On Wednesday night, the Cleveland Cavaliers had another fantastic game, got the win 121-112. It was pretty much all Cleveland all night. Donovan Mitchell had 30 points. Darius Garland had 21 points, and it was a great team game from the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are up 2-0 in this series, and Game 3 is on Saturday. And then the last series we're talking about is the Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. And Houston dominated Game 2. It was all Golden State in Game 1, but Houston bounced back huge in Game 2. And even though Jimmy Butler, he ended up injuring himself, so he didn't play most of the game. I think he got injured in the first or second quarter. I know it was the first half he was injured, but so he didn't play the rest of the game, and that was obviously a big deal. But they were already not playing that well before he got injured, so I kind of feel like Houston was winning that one regardless. But it was domination by the Houston Rockets, 109-94. And Jalen Green, he came back hard, dropping 38 points. Right now, this series is tied up, and Game 3 is on Saturday. So yesterday was the first round of the NFL draft. We had a couple of surprises, but not a lot. I wouldn't say this was a major shakeup type draft. It was pretty straightforward. We had a couple of trades, but for the most part, I kind of feel like, all the teams went with who they should probably go with. One dude, I will say, Shedeur Sanders, he slipped through the cracks. He actually slipped down to the second round today. He was definitely a dude people were looking at as a number one overall pick, potentially. But you never know what's going to happen. Like I was talking about on the last show when I was talking about the draft, I just don't take a lot of stock into the draft. I mean, for Christ's sake, Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. Joe Montana was a 4th-round pick. These are two of the greatest football players of all time. So it really doesn't matter where you're selected. And, fall into the second round, now maybe he can end up with a decent team. I mean, usually, the number one overall pick was the Tennessee Titans. And it's like, well, do you really want to go to the Titans? I mean, they're going to be rebuilding for a few years. Whereas you go to a team that's a little bit more established and, maybe, like, it looks like chances are Aaron Rodgers is probably going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, nothing has happened, but let's just say that's what happens. And then Shedeur Sanders maybe ends up getting drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is that so bad that you go to the Steelers, a stellar organization, then Mike Tomlin is your coach, a Hall of Fame worthy coach, and then you get to follow up Aaron Rodgers and learn from him for a couple years? I wouldn't say that's a bad deal, I mean, obviously, who knows what's going to happen today? I feel like Shedeur's absolutely going in the second round. Whoever gets Shedeur Sanders is getting a good quarterback. For me personally, just watching what I've seen from him, I think he's going to translate well. Obviously, depending on the situation, but I mean, he's probably going in the second round. So whoever gets him's, getting a steal, in my opinion. But for him personally, I just think, this could end up being a good thing. Also, hopefully it lights a fire under his ass and he proves some people wrong, because that has happened many, many times in the past. I mean, look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was literally the last pick in the draft. The last pick in the draft is literally called Mr. Irrelevant every single year, because usually it's the last pick in the draft. They don't usually amount to anything, but sometimes you do. So the draft, it is what it is. It's cool to speculate on things, but at the end of the day, it's just you get picked, you get selected, you know what team you're going to play for the next couple of years, but who knows what's going to happen? Ultimately, it's up to these players to have great careers, but it's also people around them. Sometimes coaches tear you down, sometimes organizations tear you down, and sometimes you just end up in a shitty situation and your career goes to hell for many, many different reasons. But so Shedeur should not take it as a bad thing that he's fallen down, because he could potentially end up in a much better situation than going to maybe like the Titans or something of that nature. So let's break down the first round. Like I said, not a lot of shakeups, really. I mean, it kind of feels like it was overall the majority of the teams took who they were going to take. Like I said, not a lot of trades, but let's get right into it. So the number one overall pick remained the Tennessee Titans. They went with the quarterback position. They went with quarterback Cam Ward out of Miami. Then the number 2 overall pick ended up being Travis Hunter. He ended up going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who traded up where the Cleveland Browns were the number 2 pick, but they ended up trading with each other. And the Jacksonville Jaguars went with Travis Hunter. I like Travis Hunter, especially because I like the 2-position player. I like that he wants to play cornerback and wide receiver in today's day and age. We'll see if it actually ends up being a normal thing for him, but I'm excited to see what he's got to do. Even though it's the Jaguars, it could be a terrible situation, but at the end of the day, it could be a good situation just because maybe they're missing out on Travis Hunter. But then at number 3, we had the New York Giants take Abdul Carter, pass rusher out of Penn State. Number 4 pick, New England Patriots went with Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU. Number 5 pick, Cleveland Browns went with Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. That was from their trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 6 overall pick, Las Vegas Raiders. They went with running back Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State. Then at number 7, the New York Jets went with Armand Membu, offensive tackle out of Missouri. Number 8 pick, Carolina Panthers went with Tetaroa McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona. Number 9 pick went to the New Orleans Saints. They went with Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle out of Texas. Hook 'em horns, motherfucker. Number 10 pick went to the Chicago Bears. Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. Number 11 pick went to the San Francisco 49ers. Michael Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia. Number 12 pick went to the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Booker. He is an offensive guard out of Alabama. I love this pick as a Dallas Cowboys fan. I had a feeling they were going to go with offensive line. I personally think they definitely need some offensive weapons. But at this point in time, we all know Dak Prescott needs to be standing upright to even be remotely successful. Tyler Booker definitely helps out. He is a beast. Everybody who has played against him or with him has nothing but glowing things to say about him. I feel like he's going to come right out the gate and be a solid offensive lineman for the Cowboys for years to come. But like I said, I feel like they either needed a running back or an offensive lineman, and so I'm glad they went with one of the best offensive linemen you could go with in this year's draft. Also, Alabama, basically like playing for a pro team. I also loved watching him. When he had his name called, he was excited to be a Dallas Cowboy. That is who I want playing for my team. So I, as a Cowboys fan, I'm excited about this pick of Tyler Booker. So welcome to the Cowboys, Tyler Booker. Then at number 13, the Miami Dolphins went with Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Number 14, the Indianapolis Colts went with Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. Number 15, the Atlanta Falcons went with Jalen Walker, the edge rusher out of Georgia. Number 16, the Arizona Cardinals went with Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle out of Mississippi. Number 17, the Cincinnati Bengals went with Shamar Stewart, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Number 18, the Seattle Seahawks went with Gray Zabel, the offensive guard out of North Dakota State. Then at number 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went with Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Number 20, the Denver Broncos went with Jahdae Barron, the cornerback out of Texas. Hook 'em horns, motherfucker. Then at number 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers went with Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon. I found this to be a very, very questionable call by the Steelers because with the Steelers, I think we all know their problem is offense. They have basically zero issues on the defensive side of the ball. Sure, they could use a defensive tackle, but with your number 1 overall pick, I kind of feel like they should have gone Shedeur Sanders because they definitely need a quarterback. Not only just a quarterback for now, but they do need a quarterback for the future. Because even if they sign Aaron Rodgers is not going to be around probably more than 2 years. I mean, he could, but chances are it's going to be a 1 to 2 year type of deal with Aaron Rodgers. And then it's like, you let Shedeur back him up. Now, they could pick him up today, obviously. But I just found that to be a very, very odd move because defense is not an issue for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't remember the last time defense has been an issue with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but this season is definitely not a year where the Pittsburgh Steelers had holes that they needed to fill with their number 1 overall pick, but that is the route they went. We'll see how that works out for him. I don't doubt that Derek Harmon is an excellent player. It's just I kind of look at that and I go, the Steelers need help on offense, not just at the quarterback position, but they need offensive line help. They need help at the running back position, and they also need help at the receiver position. They basically need help at every single offensive position you could get, and they go with defensive tackle. That made zero sense to me, but what the fuck do I know? Then at number 22, the Chargers went with Omarion Hampton, the running back out of North Carolina. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers went with Matthew Golden, the wide receiver out of Texas. Hook 'em horns, motherfucker. That is 3 Texas Longhorns in the first round. So that's fucking dope as a Longhorns fan. Then at number 24, the Minnesota Vikings went with Donovan Jackson, offensive guard out of Ohio State. Number 25, the New York Giants went with Jackson Dart, quarterback out of Mississippi. This was actually a trade between the Giants and the Houston Texans. Then at number 26, the Atlanta Falcons went with James Pierce Jr., the edge rusher out of Tennessee. This was also a trade between the Los Angeles Rams and the Atlanta Falcons. Then at number 27, the Baltimore Ravens went with Malachi Starks out of Georgia, and he's a safety out of Georgia. And then at number 28, the Detroit Lions went with Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Number 29, the Washington Commanders went with Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon. Number 30, the Buffalo Bills went with Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback out of Kentucky. And then at number 31, the Philadelphia Eagles went with, what an odd trade here. The Eagles and the Chiefs just traded spots. I don't know why. The Eagles were 32 and the Chiefs were 31. They literally just traded spots. That I don't get it, but they did. So at 31, the Eagles went with Jahad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama. And at number 32, the Kansas City Chiefs went with Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle out of Ohio State. So the rest of the draft is throughout the weekend, so we'll see what happens with the rest of it. But like I said, it's pretty much just names on paper to me. And yes, you could speculate all you want, but at the end of the day, none of us know what the fuck's going to happen until these dudes get on the field. All right, so moving on to the Trop 10 list this week. We are finishing up my Trop 10 NBA GOATs from each decade. And this week rounds it out with the Trop 10 NBA GOATs from the 2010 decade. And some of these dudes are actually still in the league. But a few of them actually just are going to be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. So you can see it kind of runs the gamut of dudes who are already out of the league with dudes who are currently in the league. So let's get started. With number 10 on my Trop 10 NBA GOATs from the 2010 decade, Carmelo Anthony played small forward and power forward with the Denver Nuggets from 2003 to 2011, then with the New York Knicks from 2011 to 2017, and then played with a couple other teams to round out his career. He actually just got elected to the Hall of Fame, so he will be getting into he will be inducted into the Hall of Fame in a couple of months here. So congratulations to him, but that just goes to show you what kind of a player he was in this era. Now, unfortunately, he never won a championship. He never even really had a legitimate shot at a championship, just because his teams kind of fell short when shit happened. And then the end of his career just was marred by injuries. But needless to say, he still was a impactful player and was just a great player to watch, at least in my opinion. I remember when he was drafted, and I enjoyed his career all the way up until the day he retired. I think he was an excellent player. He's a six-time All-NBA selection. His career numbers: 28,289 points, 7,808 rebounds, and 3,422 assists. Then at number 9 on my Trop 10 NBA GOATs of the 2010 decade, he still is in the league, and that is Russell Westbrook. Played point guard with the Oklahoma City Thunder from 2008 to 2019, then with the Houston Rockets from 2019 to 2020, then with the Washington Wizards from 2020 to 2021, then with the Los Angeles Lakers from 2021 to 2023, then with the Los Angeles Clippers from 2023 to 2024, and now he is currently with the Denver Nuggets. They are actually in the playoffs right now. He won an MVP in 2017. He is one of the few players to ever average triple-doubles throughout the season. He is actually one of the original triple-double kings. He is one of the only guys to even have comparisons to one of the greatest ever, Oscar Robertson. So it's just, he has dominated when it comes to triple-doubles and being an all-around great player. As a matter of fact, he is an excellent point guard. That is exactly what you want out of a point guard. You want him to be able to score. You want him to be able to take over a game, but you also want him to be able to pass the ball and create plays for his other guys on the team, or also just get in the paint and grab rebounds. That's Russell Westbrook. He still has it in him, but obviously he's lost a step because, he's only getting older, and that's just what happens when you play basketball as long as he has. He is a 7-time All-NBA selection. He has led the league in scoring twice, and he's also led the league in assists 3 times throughout his career as well. And who knows, he may win a championship still, and he still has ways to add to his resume in his career. Then at number 8 on my Trop 10 NBA GOATs from the 2010 decade, Dwight Howard played center for the Orlando Magic from 2004 to 2012, then with the Los Angeles Lakers from 2012 to 2013. That was short-lived because he could not handle playing with Kobe Bryant because he's a little twat, and Kobe Bryant knew that right from the start. Then he went with the Houston Rockets from 2013 to 2016, and then just played with a few other teams from year to year to round out his career. He actually did end up winning a championship with the Lakers on a second go-round in 2020. He was able to put up with LeBron's bullshit, but he could not put up with Kobe, so that's kind of funny. But he even knows, he even said it when he went back with the Lakers that time around, that he fucked up when he played with Kobe, because that's just what happens. You either come to play or you get the fuck up out of town if you're playing with Kobe. But Dwight Howard, I mean, as much as he pissed me off as in his first go round with the Lakers, he's still, it's inarguable to, you look at his stats and just how dominating he was, especially when he was with the Orlando Magic. I mean, he is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. That alone puts you in a category unlike many other players. So he is a game changer especially when he was with Orlando. He also is going to be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. So that just goes to show you he actually is an excellent player, 8-time All-NBA selection, 5-time All-Defense, and just had an all-around really solid career to start. Like I said, it ended with him basically going from team to team to team for the last 4 or 5 years of his career. But like I said, it happens to a lot of guys, and that shouldn't erase when when you're like a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. That is pretty crazy. And that was 3 consecutive years, by the way. So that just goes to show you the type of dominance he had on the league at the time. Then at number 7 on my top 10 NBA GOATs of the 2010 era is Chris Paul. He's still in the league as well. Played point guard with the New Orleans Hornets. That's how long this dude's been in the league. He played with the Hornets, who are now the Pelicans. But he played with them from 2005 to 2011. Then he played with the Los Angeles Clippers. Should have been the Lakers. David fucking Stern. But I digress. He played with the Clippers from 2011 to 2017, then with the Houston Rockets from 2017 to 2019, then with the Oklahoma City Thunder from 2019 to 2020, then with the Phoenix Suns from 2020 to 23, then with the Golden State Warriors last year, and now with the San Antonio Spurs. He is an 11-time All-NBA selection, 9-time All-Defense. The thing about Chris Paul, this dude he's such a great player still to this day, but in his prime, this guy was so good on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. Chris Paul just was known as the best point guard in the league, basically until Steph Curry stepped in. Once Steph Curry came into the league, I think we all were like, oh yeah, that's the best point guard in the league. But up until that point, Chris Paul dominated at the point guard position in this league, both offensively and defensively. He was Rookie of the Year in 2006, and 5-time assist leader, 6-time steal leader. And since he's still in the league, I'm not going to rattle off his career numbers because he still can add more to it. He could still potentially win a championship. I don't expect him to retire. I mean, he is now at that age where it kind of feels like every year we're kind of waiting to see if he retires. But I feel like, he's playing with Victor Wembanyama, and I feel like he's going to want to try and at least get a whole season in with Victor in this next year. I'm not saying that the Spurs really are on the precipice of winning a championship, but I mean, playing with Victor Wembanyama, and that's got to be a little bit of a draw for you to stick around for a couple more years. Then at number 6 on my top 10 NBA GOATs from the 2010 decade, I have Anthony Davis, still in the league as well, plays center and power forward. He was with the New Orleans Pelicans, so he was after Chris Paul, but he played with the Pelicans from 2012 to 2019, then with my Los Angeles Lakers from 2019 to 2025, and then was traded this year to the Dallas Mavericks, so we'll see how the rest of his career pans out. But I mean, Anthony Davis has been one of the most solid players since he hit the league. Yes, he has been marred by injuries, but that is all you could say. As a Lakers fan, I have had an up-close and personal look at this dude, and I loved every moment of Anthony Davis being a Los Angeles Lakers. So I respect his game, and he's just fantastic on the defensive side of the ball. He's just a great all-around basketball player. He can score. He can knock down 3-point shots. He's clutch. He's just a great all-around player, and I personally love Anthony Davis. Won a championship with the Lakers in 2020. Actually should have been the MVP, by the way, of those NBA finals. I know they gave it to LeBron, but of that entire playoff run, Anthony Davis was so fucking clutch and so huge in that run. So I'm just a huge Anthony Davis fan, and it's just really hard for me not to sing the praises of him because I just am such a huge fan. 5-time All-NBA selection, 5-time All-Defense, and 3 times has led the league in blocks. And like I said, not going to rattle off the career numbers because he still has plenty of room to grow with his career. Then at number 5 on my top 10 NBA GOATs of the 2010 decade, you know Kobe was going to make this list. Y'all should be lucky he ain't number 1. But of course he couldn't be number 1 because this was the end of his career. But you know what? It didn't matter. Kobe's career was great from start to finish. Shooting guard, of course, with the Los Angeles Lakers from 1996 to 2016. Now, I'm not going to go off on all of his stats because since if you listen to the show, hell, if you even heard the intro song, it's called Mamba Mentality, you should already know I love me some Kobe Bryant. He is my favorite basketball player of all time. So I've discussed everything about Kobe Bryant on here times a million. He was number 1 on my last list, so I already rattled off basically all of his stats. So I'm just going to do the basic stats, which is he's a 5-time NBA champ, and he won MVP in 2008. But, to me, he's the greatest of all time, and I enjoyed every second of Kobe Bryant's career. And I was absolutely going to put him on this list because while he didn't win championships in this era, he was still feared, he was still making great plays, and he was still a dominating player until his last motherfucking game. Then at number 4 on my top 10 NBA GOATs of the 2010 decade, I have Dwayne Wade, shooting guard with the Miami Heat from 2003 to 2016. And then played for a couple other teams like the Bulls and the Cavaliers in between, and then went back to the Miami Heat and ended his career with them for 2018 to 2019. But to me, man, Dwayne Wade is probably one of the most underrated players of all time. Nobody really talks about him being a GOAT. Nobody ever brings him up as being as one of the best players ever. They always talk about, yeah, he played with LeBron, and yeah, he played with Shaq. But I'm sorry, dude. He was winning championships right out the gate. He was a legit player from the jump. I mean, he was playing great basketball from the day he was drafted and until the day he retired. He is just a fantastic player. I mean, really, the only reason why his career petered out at the end is really just due to some injuries, and that's really the case with a lot of dudes. But Dwayne Wade, to me, is one of the most underrated players of all time because nobody wants to admit he is one of the greatest to ever do it. He is a 3-time champion. He won a championship in 2006, 2012, and 2013. 8-time All-NBA selection, 3-time All-Defense. That's another thing about him. He was an all-around great player. Could shoot like a motherfucker, but played great on the defensive side of the ball. His career numbers, 23,165 points, 4,933 rebounds, and 5,701 assists. Then at number 3 on my top 10 NBA GOATs from the 2010 decade, Kevin Durant. He's also still in the league. Plays power forward and small forward. He's played so long in the league that he first started out as a Seattle Supersonic, and then they ended up moving to Oklahoma City. So he played with the Seattle Supersonics / Oklahoma City Thunder from 2007 to 2016. Then with the Golden State Warriors from 2016 to 2019. Then with the Brooklyn Nets from 2019 to 2023, and is currently with the Phoenix Suns, but we all know that could change because it was already rumored that he was going to get traded at the trade deadline. They are obviously revamping in Phoenix, so there's a good chance he may end up with somebody else this offseason, but currently he is with the Phoenix Suns. He is a 2-time champion in 2017 and 2018 with the Golden State Warriors. He won MVP in 2014 when he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder. 11-time All-NBA selection, Rookie of the Year in 2008. 4-time scoring leader. 2-time 50-40-90 club. And he's just one of the greatest shooters of all time. Flat out, full stop. That is one thing you could say about Kevin Durant's game is that he was meant to shoot. You put him anywhere on the court, that motherfucker can shoot it. Even if it's the opposite end of the court, if he's got a good, clean look, homeboy can make it. Guarantee you. He is such a phenomenal shooter. That's why it was crazy. Teaming him and Steph up because they're such beautiful shooters that that is what it is. Now, me personally, I've always loved Kevin Durant. He was a Texas Longhorn, so I was already rooting for him from the jump. But I've always rooted for him still to this day. I love his game. I know a lot of people either love or hate him. I'm not really sure why. I think it's because, it used to be the same thing. Like it used to be, is Kevin Durant better than LeBron, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of that hatred, tends to boil over when it's like, who cares who's better, Kevin or LeBron? They're both fucking fantastic players. They're not even comparable, really. They're not even the same player in any way, shape, or form. I mean, real talk, if we're having a shooting contest, Kevin Durant's beaten LeBron probably 8 out of 10 times. I mean, I'm not dissing LeBron's shooting game. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time himself. But, I mean, just as far as pure shooting goes, Kevin Durant is one of the greatest to ever do it. So for me personally, I've just loved watching his career. And quite frankly, if Phoenix is going to want to get rid of him, why don't you come over and play with us Lakers, homie? I wouldn't mind seeing you in a Lakers uniform. As a matter of fact, I would be buying that jersey the day it happened. So, hey, maybe that would happen. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen with Kevin Durant's rest of his career? But regardless, he's already cemented his legacy as well. He's won MVPs. He's been to NBA Finals, even with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nobody thought the Thunder had a shot at ever going to an NBA Finals, let alone winning one, which they did not do. But come on, they were a damn good team at one point. So Kevin Durant, I've got him at 3, but he's just one of the greatest shooters of all time. And that goes to show you with the statistics that he's put up over his career. Then at number 2 on my top 10 NBA GOATs of the 2010 decade, Steph Curry. One of the greatest point guards of all time, straight up. Dude has changed the game. He's been playing with the Golden State Warriors since 2009, 4-time champion in 2015, 2017, 2018, and 2022, and easily could add more. I would not be shocked if he had 1 or 2 more in his career because he's just a fantastic game-changing player. And with Jimmy Butler, that gives them a lot of life there in the playoff department. He is a 2-time MVP. He won MVP in 2015 and 2016. He was also overall MVP, like, everybody voted for him, and that I think that was either the first or second time that it ever happened in the history of the NBA. So that's how much he dominated that season. He is a 10-time All-NBA selection. He's also a member of the 50-40-90 club. He did it once. And I just think we can all say this. I said he's one of the greatest point guards of all time. I haven't ranked point guards, the position at point guard, but he definitely top 3. You can make arguments about he and Magic, but I don't know, man. I would have to really, really analyze that one. But this is one thing we can all agree on with Steph Curry. And if you don't agree with this statement that I'm about to make, you are el stupido. That's what you are. Steph Curry is the greatest three-point shooter of all time. He changed the game. I mean, this game used to be dominated by centers. If you look at the history of the NBA, it's center, and then maybe peppered with a point guard or a forward here and there, but it was center. Every fucking year, it is a center that dominates the league. Not when Steph Curry hit the league. Soon as Steph Curry hit the league, this has turned into a three-point shootout fest. Everybody thinks they Steph Curry, but you ain't Steph Curry. And Steph Curry changed the game, and that is inarguable, people. As a person who has been watching his entire career, and I've been watching him since he was in college as well, I loved Steph Curry in college. He was just so much fun to watch. That's just all there is to it, and he's remained fun to watch. And there's no argument. He changed the game, but is the greatest three-point shooter ever. But at number 1 on the top 10 NBA GOATs of the 2010 decade, this is also inarguable, and that is LeBron James. Pretty much has played every position on the court, but he is mostly a smaller power forward. Played with the Cleveland Cavaliers from 2003 to 2010, then with the Miami Heat from 2010 to 2014, Cleveland Cavaliers 2014 to 2018, and now currently with the Los Angeles Lakers from 2018 up until now. He is a 4-time champion, 2012, 2013, 2016, and 2020. 4-time MVP, 2009, 2010, 2012, and 2013. 19-time All-NBA selection. Yes, that's right, folks. He has been selected All-NBA of every single year of his career. I just put that together. I was doing his stats last week because he, of course, made last week's list. And so I'm obviously not going to do all the stats that I did last week for LeBron. But when I did this All-NBA selection, I was like, what year hasn't he been selected? I'm like, oh, That would be this year. So, and that's because we don't know the all NBA teams. He's obviously going to be on there, or he should be on there, at least one of them. So yeah, he's made the all NBA selection every single year of his career. Like, that's just crazy. 6-time all defense and rookie of the year in 2004. And of course, LeBron's career could continue to grow. I mean, he's got a shot at winning a championship this year. So, I mean, he could keep winning more championships. He comes back next year. He will obviously have another shot at that as well. But we'll see what happens with LeBron's career. But obviously, he and all of these dudes pretty much have cemented their legacies, obviously. I wouldn't be shocked because, obviously, like I said, some of these dudes are still in the league, but the ones who have retired, Carmelo's in the Hall of Fame, Dwight Howard's going in the Hall of Fame, and Kobe, Hall of Fame, and Dwayne Wade, Hall of Fame. So it's like already a lot of this list has already made the Hall of Fame. And, I look at it and I go, I kind of feel like the runs that are still playing are obviously, LeBron, Steph, KD, they are 100% going in first ballot Hall of Famers. So that is my top 10 NBA GOATs of the 2010 decade. Number 10, Carmelo Anthony. Number 9, Russell Westbrook. Number 8, Dwight Howard. Number 7, Chris Paul. Number 6, Anthony Davis. Number 5, Kobe Bryant. Number 4, Dwayne Wade. Number 3, Kevin Durant. Number 2, Steph Curry. And number 1, LeBron James. So that rounds out my top 10 NBA GOATs from each decade. This one was also just as interesting as doing the NFL GOATs of each decade. I learned about players I didn't know who they were. I learned more about players who I already knew about. And then I also got to, walk down memory lane with some other players and just be like, oh yeah, Carmelo Anthony did used to fucking dominate the league. It's just like you going, oh man, that's right. Dwight Howard used to fucking be crazy on defense and dominate the league. You just sometimes forget it. When you get far away from some of these guys. But it's always fun and interesting to me to go over those lists just because you learn a lot, even when you already think you know a bunch about some of these players. All right, y'all, enjoy the weekend of sports. We have a ton of basketball on tap. We may even have some second round NBA playoff matchups set because there's definitely some potential for a couple of sweeps here heading into Monday. And then, of course, we've got the rest of the NFL draft throughout the weekend. So enjoy the weekend of sports, and I will talk to you fools on Monday.